I've heard from so many people about your pouring your heart out at the end of our combine coverage for Chris Mortensen. And, it kind of, I think, took some people by surprise that you were so close with him. They might have missed that wonderful moment during the 2020 draft because it was COVID and, life was kind of nutty at the time, where you shared your story and your backstory with him. But I'd love to just give you the floor here and talk about Mort one more time or another time or as much as you'd like or not at all, because I know, again, how much he meant to you and how broken up you still are about it.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, I'll start with this, Rich. Man, it was a hard day, getting through that day and then get a chance to share a little bit. I thought I'd be able to keep it together. That didn't happen. But the interesting thing about grief is, I woke up yesterday, so the day after, and I was so down the day before. I woke up with this just odd, joyful, thankful feeling of just all the years and all the memories that I got to share with Mort. So it's interesting how that works, and I think that was, just a really cool thing to be filled with such gratitude. But I met him when I met Mort when I was a senior in high school. And he came to the Super Bowl was out in San Diego, and he loved my dad. He listened to my dad on the radio. That's how I got to meet him. So he wanted to go see my dad at my dad's church. And then my dad knew him. So, of course, my dad invites him to lunch. So I come into the house after church, and Chris Mortensen's sitting at my dining room table. And that's where I met him. And then he came to some of my college games. He would fly me up to Bristol, Connecticut when I was in college just to let me be a fly on the wall and get to visit with Stuart Scott and get to visit with Lee Corso and all these guys. And then he would have me intern for him at the draft, and I would sit off to the side and answer his phones. And that's kind of what helped me get going. I remember when I got let go with Cleveland, and I was interested in getting into the TV world, doing broadcasting. He gave me the advice, you need to start a Twitter page. And I didn't even know what Twitter was. This is like 2009. It just kind of got going. So I'm on vacation in Alaska on a cruise, Rich, and I go to the internet cafe about 3 days in. I haven't checked my email. I go in there and I have like 2,000 emails, and it's all the people that have followed you on Twitter. I didn't know how this works. And so finally I go through and I find an email from Mort. It said, "Hey, I just told people to follow you on Twitter. You might want to tweet, !" So that's how I started. It kind of grew this Twitter following, which led to me getting radio interviews, which led to ESPN calling and doing the draft with ESPN News and doing, First Take many years ago. And that kind of launched this whole side of my life. So I owe him so much, and he was so fun-loving and such just a great giving guy, and it's been neat to see all the tributes pour in.
Right, and universally loved. Right, like the outpouring is an understatement, and that just obviously speaks so many volumes. I would be remiss if I didn't follow up. What is it like to answer Chris Mortensen's phones during a draft, Daniel? Like, who was on the other end of the line when you were doing that?
It was general managers. It was head coaches. I distinctly remember Andrea Kramer calling because I think she was with one of the teams at one of the sites.
Right.
She's like, "I need to talk to him." I'm like, "Andrea, he's on the air. I can't." And I don't know what the right answer is. Am I supposed to get him? But he's like, "I don't know how this works."
Right.
But she had some good stuff that she wanted to pass along. But it was definitely, I mean, as a kid, as a college kid who loved the draft, it was a dream.
Oh my gosh. Answering Chris Mortensen's phones during a draft, that is something. And it was beautiful. Again, the way you poured your heart out, brother. You're truly special, and I love working with you. I just absolutely love working with you. It's just a blast. The 4 days are a blur. It's like Xavier Worthy's second 40. You know what I mean? It just goes by so fast when I'm hanging with you. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.